Okay, so in this video, I want to show you how do you factor trinomial. So trinomial meaning if you have something like, say, ax squared plus bx plus c, and you want to factor that. So more specifically, we're going to focus on where a is not 1, okay? So if a is 1, it's pretty simple. I think, but if a is not 1, then how do you factor? So we're going to use something called the AC method, where you would multiply your coefficient of the x squared term, so this piece, and the constant term c. You multiply them, you get a number, and then we'll figure out how to proceed from there. So let me illustrate this idea to you using our first example. So say we want to factor the expression, say 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. So now you can clearly see that your a is 2 and your b is 7 and your c is negative 4. So the way this method works is you're going to take your a and c and multiply them together. So you do a times c. So in this case, that's 2 times negative 4, which would be negative 8. So now you need to figure out two numbers. When you multiply them together, you get negative 8. Same time, they also add up to this coefficient right here. So we're looking for two numbers. When we multiply them, we get negative 8. And also when we add them, we get the coefficient of the x term, which is b, so that's 7. Well, what are the numbers? So if you were to write down the factors of 8, so you have 1, 8, and then 2 and 4, and that's pretty much it. So you want to put the negative sign with one of the numbers because you want the sum to be a positive 7 and the product to be a negative 8. So it looks like if we pick this pair with the negative 1, we get what we want. So if we do negative 1 times 8, we get negative 8. And if we do negative 1 plus 8, we get 7. So those are the numbers that are going to work. So now here's what you're going to do after you figure that out. You're going to rewrite the first term, which is 2x squared. You rewrite the last term, which is negative 4. And the 7x, you're going to split it using the numbers you just found. So I'll write it as negative x plus 8x, because that is going to be the sum, 7x. So really, you didn't change the question. All you did was just rewrite it with the factors you just found. So now, here you're going to use the method of grouping to finally find the factors. So we're going to group these two. You take out their GCF, which is x in this case. So we have 2x minus 1. For the last two, you pull out a plus 4. If I pull out a plus 4, I will have 2x minus 1. And now again, you see these terms, they match. So I can factor that out. So I have 2x minus 1. And I am left with this piece and this piece right here. So x plus 4. So that gives you a factor. So there you have this quadratic being factored, or trinomial being factored by using the AC method. Okay, now let's try another example. So let's go ahead and factor this one now. So again, we have a trinomial and we want to factor this by using the AC method. So your a happens to be 5 in this case, which is the coefficient of x squared. Your b is 8 and your c is negative 4. So we're going to do a times c. So if I do a times c, I have 5 times negative 4. That's negative 20. So now I'm going to go ahead and just write down the factors of 20, and then I'll play around with the negative sign, and then we'll figure out which pair will give us sum to be 8. So we want to figure out two numbers. When we multiply them, we get negative 20. And also that same number, will add up to b term, which is 8. So 20, the factors are 1 and 20. And then we have 2 and 10. And then we have 4 and 5. And then we have, well, that's pretty much it. So now we're going to pick the pair that's going to give us the product to be -20 and the sum to be +8. So it looks like if I pick this pair with a negative sign with 2, I will get -2 times 10. That will be -20. And then if I do -2 times 2 plus 10, sorry, that will give me +8. So check, that works. So that's the pair we're going to select to split up the middle term. So we rewrite the first term, 5x squared, and the middle term we're going to split it with -2x and 10x. So that'll be, let's write the 10x first. So let's say +10x, and then -2x, and then -4. Now, again, it doesn't really matter how you order them. Eventually, it will work out when you switch them. Or sometimes it doesn't even matter. I want to do it this way because I see that I can pull out the GCF from 5 and 10. So it will look nice. So now that I have written this way, I can factor out the GCF from these two. So that would be 5x. So you'll be left with x plus 2. And then from the last two, I can pull out a -2. And then I am left with x plus 2. Okay, so again, this term matches, so I'm going to pull that out. So finally, we have x plus 2, and then 5x minus 2. So there you have your factors